What's up everybody, Mateo here bringing you a 240SX video. What brought on this video was the windshield wiper switch and possibly amplifier died on the 240SX, and this is a simple wiring tutorial I guess on how to bypass that and to still get a your windshield wipers to work even though your switch or your amplifier might be dead. So just to get started, this is my circuit diagram. You're gonna need pretty much two things. You can go to Advanced Auto Parts or any I guess car store or auto parts store I should say, and you can buy a kit, and the kit will come with some wire, a switch, and a relay, and the relay is the most important part. So here you can see in the relay that we have the relay connected to two things for power source I should say. It's the cigarette lighter, which goes through the switch, which toggles the relay, which will turn on the motor of course, but the relay needs to get fuse power, and I put it on, or battery power I should say, and it goes through the fuse box through a fuse to supply power to the relay, which will give power to the motor. I believe this is the good way of doing it. I'll probably have to double check, and if anything were to happen I would update this video, but I think this should be the correct way to do it, so in case you get a short anywhere, you're not going to fry the motor. And I believe the cigarette lighter already has a fuse in there, so you should be clear. Like I said, if I do find a better way or an updated version of it that's more safe or anything better, I will update this. But pretty much what how this works is power from the cigarette lighter is going to go in through here, will go into the relay, and then the power from the relay from the fuse box will trigger the signal that the relay needs to send to the motor, and the motor will, I have it set to work with the high speed because it's a track car, so I need it on 1 speed, and it will complete the circuit and go to ground. So pretty much how it looks on the actual motor itself is number 5 and 6 are just 2 pins that are on the bottom side, and 2 is right above them, and you'll see in the video. It'll make more sense in the video. But yeah, so the way I have everything wired up is gonna make it so whenever I flip the switch, my high speed is gonna be going, and that's the only speed I have. I don't have a toggle or anything. It's just once I flip the switch, high speed wipers are on at all times until I turn it off. So yeah, the secret with this with the windshield wiper motor is that it has 2 grounds. One's your constant ground and then one's your speed ground, and that's pretty much the secret to how to get this thing to work outside of the amplifier and the switch and everything else. But other than that, it's a really simple system. One thing to note is in the video I had these backwards, but I did end up switching them. So in the video you'll see me hooking up the fuse box to the switch and the cigarette lighter to the relay. Like I said, I need to test around with it to make sure which one's the safest, but either way both of them should get the job done. So I'll see you in the video so we can see how it is like in the actual physical world. Alright guys, here we are back in the garage. After we took a look at my wiring diagram, we're going to look at the things that we need. We're going to need a switch, a relay. These 2 things came in a kit that you can just buy at any, whoops, let me put that in focus. These 2 things came in a kit that you can just buy at any auto parts store. $12 if I remember correctly for this. This is going to come with a wiring diagram for the relay. This can come with a wiring diagram for the relay. This guy. This pretty much shows everything you need to know about the relay, but we saw that earlier. And you're going to need a multimeter to detect power, constant power, ground, things like that in the car. And also an assortment of connectors for the wires, just so it's a little bit easier to hook up to the motor and to the relay. So let's go take a look at what needs to be done on the car. Okay, so on the 240, here is the windshield wiper motor, and to get better access to it, you're going to have to remove the cruise control module. This is just chilling, something like that. I'm not too worried about it. It sits right here. Just go ahead and pull it out. You're not going to be needing it, and set aside for now. So the wiper motor is what we need to take a look at, and this is the connector that connects to it. We go ahead and unplug it. My 240 is a little bit older and has a little bit of crustiness on it, but mine's a 95. But if we go to the full service manual, or the factory service manual, we can see, if we can focus, we can see the pinout that this has to the motor. And according to that pinout, we can make our own switch. Because for me, the switch in my car, where you activate the wipers, is broken. And there's two things in this 240. There's an amplifier, which can be found back here, and the amplifier looks like this. I forgot to show you. But this is what the amplifier looks like. Either the amplifier was dead, or my switch is dead. So to repair these, or to buy new ones I should say, I tried repairing it, just resoldering it, and it didn't work. I was going to attempt to repair that, but I was like, not going to bother. Because this way I'm doing it now is a little bit cheaper for me. So, I mean, these two things, to replace both of them would be $100 plus. So, I don't have that type of money. Well, I want to save some money. And either way, since this is a track-only car, I just need one speed on the wiper. So, fast speed it is. So, take out the amplifier, because you're going to be getting rid of all that pretty much. And it sits back here. There's just I think it's a 10 millimeter or 10 millimeter or a 12 millimeter bolt that holds it. So yeah. So motor here. We're gonna be using this connection to test what the pins are, just so we can confirm with our factory service manual. And then we'll be coming in here and taking a look what needs to be done. According to the fuse panel, and where to ground some certain things. So stay tuned. Okay, so this is the Nissan factory service manual for a 95 240SX, and this is the pin that we are concerned with, and the one that I just showed you. Since I already tested it and I know what it is, 2, 5, and 6 are what we need. 2 is your power, 5 is your constant ground, and 6 is your speed, or the speed that you want. So if we look at the wiring scheme up here, let me focus it a bit, or I'll just throw it up on the screen. Yeah, I'll go ahead and throw a copy on the screen. So pretty much you are going to, so we know 2 is constant power, because according to this pin right here, 2 is the one that we need. 2 is coming from the ignition switch, and then it goes through the wiper motor, and then it can go off into either pin 4 or pin 5. So pin 5 is your high speed, so you already need to have it connected to 2 and 5, and then 6 is your constant ground. So as you can see, it goes in this way, and then 6 is over here. And then according to the pin out, 2, 5, and 6 is what we'll be using, because you need to ground the speed you want, and you need to ground the overall motor. So that's what we will be doing. Okay, so we just saw on the factory, on the diagram, that our pin 2, 5, and 6 are what we need. So what we're going to go ahead and do is put in our cable here that I already made. This cable came with the kit, and we're just going to match this plug onto the motor. So the clip goes here, that's the top part, we got to get number 2. So we're going to attach our connector to it, just like this. So as you just saw, we connected the power line, or our 12, or our power to the motor, into slot number 2, on pin number 2 I should say. And I'm just going to go ahead and connect our other end that's going to go to the relay. So let's go ahead and make our new pin. So I'm going to go ahead and wire it and find a way to put it inside the cabin, because that's where I need to take the relay. That's where the relay will be located. Actually, before we move on, we're going to go ahead and connect our grounds, our 2 grounds that we need. So we remember a minute ago that we needed 2 for power, 5 for speed, and then 6 for constant ground. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, so I just got both of my grounds connected, so now we're going to go ahead and try and wire these, or take these wires into the cabin somehow. So we'll be back. Alright guys, so this is the end result and how I ran the wires. There they go from the motor. Here goes from the wiper motor. My 3 wires through this hole, and then I had to drill out a smaller hole right down here to fit all 3 wires. So there's 3 wires going through there. Just took a regular drill bit and got a hole through there. And then now we have wires in the cabin. Cool, so there are 3 wires. Now we're gonna hook up our relay to all this other stuff over there. So I'll explain all this other stuff in a second. Okay, so here we are. We just finished running the wires through the cabin. We went ahead and grounded next to the ECU over there. There's a little bolt you can just ground your ground wires to. We're gonna go ahead and test for a 12 volt, some sort of power source from the car. This right here used to be the cigarette lighter. I'm sorry. This right here used to be the cigarette lighter. This wire and this black thing, I'm pretty sure this used to be it, because everyone that had these would talk about that the cigarette lighter was the black and orange wire. So that's this one. And this should be 12 volts, and we're about to test that with the voltmeter. So go ahead, hook up your key, grab your voltmeter, try it on to volts DC, set it to 20. You're going to get your ground, you're going to grab your positive, you're going to put your positive onto where you think is 12 source, or 12 there, and then we're getting 11.87 volts. So as we can see, this is the wire that we need. So this wire, I just poked it out here earlier, will go ahead and go directly into our relay, because the relay needs power in order to function. So whenever you turn the key on, this relay will come on, and then this one's obviously in junction with the wire that we just tested is going to go directly into number 30. So this is our number 30 is where our ignition or our cigarette lighter is going to go into to power the relay. So we're going to hook it up. And then on some relays, the drawing will be at the top. On some relays, the drawing will be on the top and the numbers, but on this one in particular, it's down here. So it's down here, so if we can zoom in a little bit, you can see number 30 is this pin. So we'll go ahead and hook it up. Alright guys, so here we are continuing. Now we are going to hook up the switch to the relay. We have our power into the relay right now, so we're going to go ahead and grab our switch. Just a simple on and off switch. 3 prongs. On the diagram, it says here that our switch, the LED at the top, so we're looking at it like this to be specific. So our top prong, this one, is our positive, our accessory, and our ground. So we're going to hook this one up, and then this one, the middle one's going to go to our relay. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. Now it's hooked up to pin 86. The blue wire is our accessory and our switch. So that's going to be hooked up into our relay. We're going to sit down that to the side. It says, and then we're going to come back to this. And next we need to hook up our power source for the switch and our ground. Okay, so here we are with our switch. Our switch right now is hooked up to our positive power. They will get sent to our accessory, and here's our ground. I'll show you in a second how to hook up the positive power, the 12 volt, because it has to come in from the fuse box. So this one will come in, give power across. Power will go down through here into the relay, sending the signal that the switch has been turned on, and will power the motor. Then here's the ground. And then after I show you how to hook up the positive or the power from the fuse box, I'll show you. We will go ahead and finish up the relay 100%. So we'll be right back. Okay, so here we are on the driver's side, and we know that there's a 20 amp fuse that goes into the fuse box, and since this needs to generate high current for the motor, it's wise to put the switch on there and just have it go through the fuse box and through this fuse. So the way I have it hooked into there is through this little prong. If I can show you it. There you go. These little prongs you can buy just about anywhere. Any radio store, like electronic store, should have these prongs. And how they work is you just hook them onto the bottom of your fuse, just like this. There we go. And then it goes in. Come on, focus. There you go, it goes in just like that. And then you put this into the fuse box. Alright, here's my fuse. We're about to put it back in. Alright, the third one down. Let's see it. There we go. And it's in. So now we're just going to go ahead and tuck up this wire, and we'll be done on this side. Ignore this stuff. This is from the previous owner. He had subs in here. So we'll ignore those. But yeah, that's all you have to do on the fuse box into the switch. Alright guys, so here is the moment of truth. We're going to go see if our wiring job worked. So if everything worked good, the wipers should come on at full speed. So let's go ahead and put the key on. Yep. Cool. So just a little recap. I went ahead and plugged in the power source for the relay. And I also went ahead and plugged in the ground for the relay. Just the next two pins next to each other. The switch has ground on it, and whenever the switch is on, the LED lights up. And as you can see, the windshield wiper is going at full speed. This bypasses all your accessories. Like, you're not gonna have the speed control. You can't do high, medium, off, or low, or off. This gets rid of everything, so everything gets sent through the switch to full power, which is what you want, or that's what I want, at least in the race car, because I mean, if you're gonna have the wipers on, it better be like pouring rain. So yeah, gonna go ahead and tidy all this up, and that's pretty much it. I now have windshield wipers. So yeah, on eBay, the reason why I did this was because to replace this the switch right here is, I believe on eBay it was going for anywhere between $50 to $70. That's a little above my price range for a little stick like this. So I said to hell with it. I know I can build my own relay and switch for a lot cheaper. The kit cost me $12, some extra wire $6. I spent maybe $18 to $20 on this whole project. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll go ahead and do a quick summary on what was done and how everything should be hooked up. So, your windshield wiper motor, your pinout from the factory service manual, match it up to this. We remember that number 2 was power to the motor. Number 2 was power to the motor. Number 5 was ground. for the speed that we want, and then number 6 was constant ground for the motor. So you need these 3 hooked up to your motor in order for it to work. So power to the motor, speed, and constant ground. This goes over into the car. I went ahead and drilled out the hole. I already had a hole here for my battery relocation, so I went ahead and just put another one in there. Other people do the firewall technique where you put it into the firewall, but that requires removing the dash and everything because that plug is way under there. So it comes in through there. That's the ECU. It comes into the hole there. The red wire gets sent to the relay to power it. That goes into the relay. Your 2 grounds can be grounded anywhere on the chassis. I went ahead and put it there. Now you're over here into your relay, your power, your ground for the relay, because the relay needs to have power in order to function. Your power, your accessory, your switch, the blue wire is your switch, and then here's your 12 volts. Oh, I'm sorry, I had these backwards. This red one powers the motor. So whenever the accessory turns on, it completes the circuit. From this power, it will go over to this power whenever you flip the switch. So that completes the circuit. So this is your ignition one. Whenever you take the key off, it turns off. This is whenever you put the key in, it's a hot wire, and by hot wire I mean it'll supply power to the actual relay. And then you go over into your switch. Your switch goes to the fuse box, and you put it in the way I showed you, into the fuse box, into the 20 amp fuse. Your accessory switch, which is what goes into the relay to send the signal to turn on the motor, and then you have to ground this to complete the circuit, of course, and you can just ground that. I grounded it right there. So hopefully this video was helpful, and it showed you how to wire up your own switch, so you don't have to go and spend money on something expensive like this. Something simple. Thank you everyone for watching.